otherwise. Everything was askew at this point. It was not a normal contest.
Fact 2 will be wider. Fact 3, it's all over from the rear. Fact 1, we'll outweigh him by 40 pounds. And that's just it. That's how it's going to be.
And I don't think we come away from this experience at the Olympia.
The judges judge muscularity of individual muscle groups with proportion of their body mass definition. But sometimes their judgments become biased, and that causes some serious disagreements. Today, we will look into some of these moments when judges were held answerable. Number 7, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who won the renowned Mr. Olympia competition 7 times between 1970 and 1980, is one of the most recognizable characters in bodybuilding history. However, the bodybuilding community has been divided over his final triumph in 1980, which was highly contentious. Mike Mentzer, a rising star in the bodybuilding industry, who had won the heavyweight division of the 1979 Mr. Universe competition, was Schwarzenegger's major rival in the 1980 Mr. Olympia. Mentzer was widely recognized as possessing the best body of any bodybuilder at the time, with exquisitely balanced muscles and astounding levels of definition. Mentzer had an amazing figure, but Schwarzenegger was controversially crowned the 1980 Mr. Olympia champion. Many commentators believe that Mentzer should have won because Schwarzenegger's body had gotten worse since his prior victories.
And otherwise, everything was askew at this point. It was not a normal contest. Guys, I wasn't even concerned about that. I didn't care one way or the other. I thought there was a lot of arguing going on. One was talking or acting as the way they usually do. There was strain and tension in the air.
Some have even claimed that Schwarzenegger's prominence as a bodybuilding legend caused the judges to be biased in his favor. When Franco Columbu, a long-standing friend and training partner of Schwarzenegger's, won the 1981 Mr. Olympia, Schwarzenegger personally criticized the judging at the competition. Columbu was proclaimed the victor over rivals who were in better shape despite being in less than ideal condition owing to an injury. Schwarzenegger referred to the choice as outrageous and implied that the judges were once again biased in favor of a well-known bodybuilder. The issues surrounding the Mr. Olympia contests in 1980 and 81 refocused attention on the judging procedure and the standards utilized to select the winner. The value of muscular size versus muscular definition, as well as the significance of aesthetics and symmetry in competition judging, were topics of discussion within the bodybuilding community. In the end, Schwarzenegger's complaints of the judging procedure aided in igniting a wider discussion about the direction of bodybuilding and the significance of impartial and fair competition. Schwarzenegger remains one of the most significant figures in the history of the sport, despite the controversy surrounding his final victory that may have partially diminished his legacy. Number 6, Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman is one of the most successful bodybuilders of all time, having won the Mr. Olympia competition a record 8 times between 1998 and 2005. Despite his success, Coleman has been vocal in his criticism of the bodybuilding judging process and the potential for politics to influence the outcomes of competitions. In interviews and public statements, Coleman has expressed his concern that bodybuilding judging is too subjective and that the criteria used to determine the winner are unclear. He has suggested that the judges often have their own preferences and biases, and that these can influence the outcome of competitions. Coleman has also been critical of the politics that he believes are often involved in bodybuilding competitions. He has suggested that certain competitors are favored over others due to their relationships with judges or promoters, and that this can lead to unfair outcomes. Despite his criticisms, Coleman has remained committed to the sport of bodybuilding and has continued to compete at a high level throughout his career. He has also been a vocal advocate for changes to the judging process and for greater transparency in the sport. In recent years, there have been efforts to address some of the concerns raised by Coleman and other bodybuilders. The International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness has implemented new judging criteria and has worked to increase transparency and fairness in its competitions. However, the subjectivity of bodybuilding judging remains a contentious issue, and there is still debate over how best to determine the winner of competitions. As bodybuilding continues to evolve and grow, it is likely that the judging process will continue to be a topic of discussion and debate among athletes and fans alike. Number 5, Lee Priest. Lee Priest is a former professional bodybuilder and one of the most outspoken critics of the bodybuilding industry. He has often expressed his displeasure with the judging decisions made in competitions and what he sees as favoritism towards certain competitors. Priest has been particularly critical of the subjective nature of bodybuilding judging and the lack of transparency in the process. He has suggested that judges often have their own preferences and biases, and that this can influence the outcome of competitions. Priest has also been vocal about what he sees as favoritism towards certain competitors, particularly those who are seen as more marketable or popular. He has suggested that these competitors are often given more favorable treatment by judges and promoters, even if their physiques are not as impressive as those of other competitors. In addition to his criticism of the bodybuilding industry, Priest has also been an advocate for greater transparency and fairness in the sport. He has called for more standardized judging criteria and for judges to be held accountable for their decisions. Number 4. Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone is a former professional bodybuilder and one of the most successful competitors of the 1990s and early 2000s. Throughout his career, Levrone occasionally questioned the fairness of bodybuilding judging, particularly after controversial decisions that he felt went against him. One such instance was at the 1992 Mr. Olympia competition, where Levrone placed second to Dorian Yates. Many fans and critics of the sport felt that Levrone should have won the competition, as his physique was considered by many to be superior to Yates. Levrone himself questioned the decision, suggesting that there may have been biases or politics at play in the judging process. He also pointed out that the criteria used to judge bodybuilding competitions were often subjective and open to interpretation, which could lead to inconsistencies in judging. Number 3. Shawn Ray. Shawn Ray is a former professional bodybuilder and one of the most successful competitors of the 1990s. Throughout his career, Ray was known for his consistency and near-perfect conditioning, which made him a fan favorite and one of the most respected competitors in the sport. Despite his success, Ray often felt that he was overlooked in favor of larger competitors. He criticized judging decisions throughout his career, suggesting that the judging criteria used in bodybuilding competitions favored size over aesthetics and conditioning. Ray was particularly critical of the trend towards extreme mass in the sport, which he felt had taken away from the artistic and aesthetic qualities that made bodybuilding unique. He argued that bodybuilding should be about presenting the most aesthetically pleasing physique, not simply the largest or most muscular. Number 2. Kai Greene. Kai Greene is a former professional bodybuilder and one of the most successful competitors of the 2000s and early 2010s. Throughout his career, Greene often expressed his disappointment with judging decisions, particularly in relation to his performances at the Mr. Olympia competition. Greene placed second to Phil Heath multiple times in the Mr. Olympia, with many fans and critics of the sport feeling that he was more deserving of the title on at least one occasion.
The champion of Phil Heath is any less than we know it has to have been in order to be where he was and where he is. And I don't think we come away from this experience at the Olympia. I don't think his champion has been questioned at all, questioning whether or not.
Greene himself has been vocal about his disappointment with the judging decisions, suggesting that politics and biases may have played a role in the outcomes of the competitions.
Fact 2 will be wider. Fact 3, it's all over from the rear. Fact 1, we'll outweigh him by 40 pounds. And that's just it. That's how it's going to be.
Despite his frustrations, Greene remained committed to the sport of bodybuilding and continued to compete at a high level throughout his career. He won numerous titles, including the Arnold Classic and the New York Pro, and was known for his innovative and creative posing routines. Number 1. Flex Wheeler. Flex Wheeler is widely regarded as one of the most aesthetic bodybuilders in history, thanks to his incredible symmetry, proportion, and posing skills. However, despite his impressive physique and numerous titles, Wheeler has also experienced his fair share of disappointment with the judging decisions in bodybuilding competitions. One of the most notable examples of this was his second-place finish to Dorian Yates at the 1993 Mr. Olympia. Many fans and critics of the sport felt that Wheeler was more deserving of the title that year, given his outstanding posing routine and aesthetic physique. Wheeler himself has been vocal about the disappointment with the judging decision, suggesting that political factors may have played a role in the outcome of the competition. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.